Hi, guys. Welcome and welcome back. So, I had promised that I'll show you how to actually buy a bond that is in auction. Okay. So, the first thing that we said is that you need to have a CSD account, which you create through the Central Bank of Kenya. Okay. So, you can just Google CSD, and then if you don't have an account, you will come here and click create account. Let me just do that. So you're going to add your email address, your username, and accept legal terms. Then when you log in, it will ask you for your personal information. That's basically your name, your ID number, um, your passport photo, your KRA pin. And then nowadays, it actually takes between 24 and 48 hours for your account to be confirmed. And then once it's confirmed, you can actually log in. Yeah. So because I already have an account, let me go back to login. So in my case, I'll come and log in using my email address, my password, login. So once you log in, the interface will basically show you the holdings that you have. So, if, for example, you had bought bonds worth 100,000, it's going to show you that, yeah. But assuming this is your first time, basically you're going to come down here. Um, sorry, here you click at auctions because you want to see what bonds are actually on offer. Okay. So you see this one's called Reopen SDB, FXD, Switch. These basically are the bonds. These other ones are the treasury bills. Okay. Remember, we said treasury bills are floated daily, but bonds, they're usually floated on a monthly basis. So just a little detour. When you see this called switch, it's probably where this bond was supposed to mature this year, right? But because the government does not want to strain its short-term cash flows, it gives people an option to swap or to switch into another bond that matures at a later date. Okay. But because that is not what we are here to do, now let's assume this is your first time and maybe you want this bond, right? Remember this FXD, we said this is a fixed interest bond, okay? And then it is being issued in 2026 and it matures in 30 years, all right? So that means it's going to mature in 2056, okay? And then sometimes we said the government can actually reopen bonds that had been issued at an earlier date, okay? In such an instance, that is when we can see here we have a bond that is being reopened. Okay, it was issued in 2011 and right now it's being reopened. Okay, so we said let's assume you are actually interested in this new bond that is being floated that matures in 30 years. Okay, so if you want to get a prospectus for that, you actually go to Google CBK open bonds, click here. Because you want a prospectus, you come here. Remember, we said a prospectus tells you everything that you want to know. Okay. We've said this SDB one is a reopened bond, but this FXD one is a new bond. So let's assume you're actually interested in this. When you click here, you see it downloads, or rather, it opens for you the prospectus, right? This prospectus basically is telling you if you take this reopened bond, it matures in 15 years, technically. It has a coupon rate, or rather an interest rate of 12%, a withholding tax of 10%, and then it matures in 2041, right? Because it only has 15 years to maturity. Then we have this new bond, the FXD one, 2026, that matures in 30 years. So that means it will mature in 2056, okay? For this one, it has an interest rate of 12.5% per annum, and its withholding tax is 10%, okay? And then we've been told that the period of sale is between 7th of April and the 15th of April. So anytime between those dates, you can actually place your bid, all right? And then the settlement date is 20th of, so that means if your bid is accepted, you're required to pay whatever amount you're bidding by 20th, all right? So basically, this is telling you the government is trying to raise 20 billion, and why they are doing this is budgetary support. Okay, and then we've said for you, assuming you're just a single entity, like you're just one person, we said for you, you place an uncompetitive bid because this one is usually guaranteed. Also, your money is kidogo. So yeah, so, the minimum that you can bid is 50K, and the maximum you can bid is 50 million, right? Then we have those big corporations, the banks, companies, the ones that have money, who can actually get to determine the rate of interest that they want. For them, they place a competitive bid, and for them, the minimum amount is 2 million. All right. So, yeah, basically, that is what that bond tells us. And like we can see here, we've been told if you're a successful bidder, actually, you're supposed to pay by 17th, not 20th. All right. By 17th. Okay. And then there's something I wanted to highlight here. When you see this is the coupon payments date, remember we said for Kenyan bonds, they usually pay the coupon or the interest every other 6 months. Okay. So for this one, the SDB one, the one that is being reopened, it means that you'll be getting the interest in August and in February. Okay. And then for this new bond, you'll be getting your coupon in October and in April. Okay. So remember we had said something called bond layering. If I were you and I had 100K, I wouldn't put all of it in one bond. I would put maybe 50 in the SDB because you see, you'll be getting interest in August and also in October. So that means if you have like money and invest in different bonds, you can be getting interest every other month. So that is what we call bond layering. Okay. I think up to that point, we have understood. So if you come here, and let's assume you've decided to go with the FXD, this one, the one that matures in 30 years, as long as you have a portal, you'll come here and then you'll click create bid. All right. Remember, we said for you, because you're a single person or like you're just a single entity who does not have a lot of money, you will come here and then you will place, assuming you want to place the minimum bid, which is 50,000, that's it. Okay. So if you have an agent is someone like a bank, you can stay them here. But if you want to buy directly, remember we said when you buy from the primary market, which is from the CBK, it tends to be cheaper. So you'll come here, leave it blank. The source of funds, of course, you have to say whether you're local or offshore. And then you come here, you can specify if you're a business person, you can say other. If you're employed, you can say like salary. And then you just accept, and then place bid. Okay. So you see, basically, it's telling you, uh, this is basically the things that you filled there. Okay. If you're comfortable, you place the bid. All right. And then you wait. If your bid is accepted, they will notify you via email, and then you can go ahead to settle within that time. Okay. So I hope you have learned something. And then maybe some of you may have a question. Like, let's assume right now you only have 50K and it's your first time. This is my personal opinion. Which one would you go for? The SDB one or the FXD? I personally would go for the FXD one. And this is my reasoning. If you're a beginner, you only have 50K, right? So if you're going for this bond that is newly floated, it means if it is 50K, you're only going to pay 50K, all right? Because remember, it's a new bond. But for this one that is being reopened, remember, this bond has been accruing interest over a period of time. So you're going to buy it at a premium, all right? So like, let's assume like a bond was going like for 100 bob. For this one, you might buy for like 115. Okay. So if you do not have a lot of money at your disposal, I personally would go for the FXD. That is reason number one. Reason number two is the interest rate. This one is 12.5 and this one is 12. All right. So you see that slight difference, that 0.5% makes an actual very huge difference in the long run. Okay. And I know you may be worried because this one matures in 2041 and this one in 2056. But you see, you don't even need to hold it for the long haul. If maybe after 3, 4 years you decide you want to sell it, you can actually just sell it. Okay. So, yeah, that's my personal opinion. I hope you've all learned something. Yeah. And I wish you happy and informed investing. Until next time, bye.